Hi, fifth graders. So we're going to go and look at what we need to do in our book today and what we need to set up. So I'm going to go ahead and hit new book. So you could pick any of these setups. I'm going to go ahead and do landscape, but you could pick whichever one. I'm doing the legislative branch for this example. So I'm going to go ahead and add text and type in my title. And I'm going to do the legislative branch as my title. You could do something a little bit more creative. You could do whatever you'd like. I'm going to move this to the center, and I'm going to maybe add some color. Here we go. I'm going to do a nice light blue, and I'm going to maybe add some borders for right now. Don't get too worked up about this right now, because you'll have plenty of time to set this up however you want. I might play around with this a little bit later, but what's important is that we want to make sure that we're setting up our book for success. So I have my cover, and actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a neat trick. So you can swipe up on your iPad, and then if you can't split screen. Oh, nope. I thought I was going to show you this cool trick. It had worked. There we go. So I have my checklist up here that I need. So I just did my title, but I'm going to need an image, and I'm going to need the author. So who is this book by? It's by me. So I'm going to go ahead and get take care of the author. And I'm going to do by Mrs. McBride. Bring that over. And adjust it how you'd like. So that's just what I'm going to leave right now. So I'm going to go ahead and circle that I still need my image. So for our book, what we're going to need is a dedication page. So just so I remember it, what I would recommend you all doing is starting out with this book is dedicated to ... so that you remember that you have to do that. Add that dedication part. Again, if you want to get a text, make sure that you're hitting the plus and find where it says add text. You could add photos by clicking photos and adding those in, and then a pen if you want to draw. So I'm going to go on the next page. I'm going to go and add just the headings. That's all we're really focusing on right now, are just setting the headings up so that when we come back, we know what we need to still fill in. So I'm going to go ahead and do the heading for the table of contents, because we don't know how many pages our book is going to be quite yet. We don't know where things are going to fall along. You might start writing your book and think, oh, I was going to put this on page 3, but now I think it fits better so much on page 5. And that's okay. We're just doing the headings for right now. So again, using my checklist, so I've set up this for the headings, and maybe you could write a little H above this to make sure that you have the headings. So now I just did the table of content. And so then I'm going to have to do an introduction page. So again, to add a page, you're going to hit this plus right here on the corner. And then up top, by the circle with the eye, you are going to hit the plus and hit add text for that. I'm just going to go ahead and, again, write some of the headings. So I'm doing introduction. That's going to be the heading for this is introduction. And I see here that we need at least 5 other headings. Well, one heading I think I'm going to do for the legislative branch is, what is the legislative branch? On this page, I would talk about what they do, what are their jobs, and maybe why that's important. Or I might say the why is that important for a whole different page. So now I have 1 heading down and I need 4 more to go. I'm going to go ahead and hit the plus sign again for a new page. I'm going to add text, and I'm going to ask, or I'm going to do what makes up the legislative branch. And here, I might talk about the two, the House of Representatives and the Senate. That's where I would talk about the those 2 pieces of the legislative branch. On my next page, I might talk about who can work for the legislative branch. All right, so I already have 3 of my headings. I need 2 more. Another heading could be maybe even where do they meet. Maybe this page I'll have still some paragraphs about where they meet and when they meet, but this might be a great place to include a picture because I can see on my checklist that I need to do that. So where do they meet? And maybe I do on this one, why is this an important branch? These are just things that I think I would want to talk about because remember, this book or this research, you can think of it as if someone's never heard of your branch before and this is your job to explain it, what were some of the questions that you had? So I can go ahead and say that I have at least 5 headings, and this is where you're going to have the at least 5 paragraphs part, where we'll be focusing on tomorrow on how to write more paragraphs from our notes. Again, we'll come back with the images and the captions, but I see that I need a citation page and an about the author page. So I'm going to go ahead and hit add text, and I'm going to type in the word bibliography. And this is just a fancy word for saying works cited, or the things that you used to gather your research, where you got your research from. And that's why we were having you all write down the author's name and the title of the book, when it was published, what city it was published, if you were able to find that, because this all helps us to keep track of our sources and write a bibliography. And finally, I'm going to go and, again, do an about the author. As another heading. So now I've done all of my headings, and this can be some time where I can play around and with the colors and other things. So again, I can hit this to change the background color or borders or add some patterns. There's these. Now remember, you can have fun with this, but you want to make sure that it doesn't make your text too hard to read. You can also change your text by clicking on your text box, hitting the eye with the circle, and you can make your text bigger, you can make it smaller. That's too small, I wouldn't be able to read that. You can change the text font, the color. I could change it to purple if I really wanted to. You can have it centered, move to the back, front, a shadow, a background. If you want like a pink background. Again, you want to make sure that it's not too hard to read, because there are people, and like, you want to present this to people. So you want to make sure that it's not too hard to read or not too overwhelming, because you still have to add in pictures and your paragraphs. So this is where we're going to stop today. Once you put in all of your headings and set up your book, again, you can go around and play with some of the settings and how it looks for it. And we will tune in tomorrow to talk about how to write